Welcome back, you guys. So I know you're asking yourself, what was Tiffany Henyard doing in the month of October 4 years ago? Well, not to worry. I'm here to shine some light on what was going on in Dolton and to show you what kind of politricks Tiffany Henyard was involved in as a trustee. And yes, that's one of the few words that I've chosen to use that she also uses, and that's politricks. Because she knows that's exactly what she was playing even as a trustee. And she's still playing those same politricks now as mayor, but now it's politricks on steroids, right? So the meeting we're going to be looking at today is from October of 2020. And this board meeting took place about 7 months before Tiffany took office as mayor. Now, one thing I would like to address before we get started, okay? We're going to be addressing some stuff today. Now, I feel it's important to showcase these old board meetings because we are then afforded the luxury of looking back in time where we get to see firsthand the kind of person Tiffany Henyard was. I say this because there were some comments on my last video about the board meeting I was talking about being really old. They were probably trolls, no doubt, but those comments did spark a remembrance of a saying that I'm sure a lot of people have heard, and that saying is this: those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Another form of this saying is this: those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This is a saying I feel a lot of people could benefit from, especially people who take the time to go and vote, who are involved in their local government, and who often find themselves unhappy with the voted in administration of their particular town, village, city, state, or what have you. So I'm saying this to say this: whenever someone is showing you the past, either you can learn from it or you can brush it aside and continue to do the same things you've been doing for decades and keep getting the same results. Which reminds me of another saying: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That being said, let's get on with this video. And this is a meeting, like I said, held in October 2020, just 7 months before Tiffany began her tenure as mayor of Dolton. Let's watch.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is general announcements. Are there any, Madam Clerk?
No, Mayor. I only have a couple of announcements under the village clerk's report, but if anyone else has announcements, this would be the time.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Trustee.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me tonight. I lost my voice over the weekend, but residents, I just want to give you some friendly updates. First, according to the news reports from news reports from CNN and MSNBC, it's in regards to coronavirus. The next thing on my announcements is the voter registration drive, you guys. That was awesome. It was a huge success. I want to give a special thanks to Frank M. Zuccarelli in Thornton Township, who dropped off over 500 food boxes this weekend, which included dairy products, veggies, meats, and canned goods, you guys.
So let's talk about some things I noticed off bat. She begins to pander to the residents and their concerns and their fears, and she starts to talk about coronavirus and how she is very concerned with their safety because this is the time when it first started happening.
It's in regards to coronavirus. Please take all the necessary precautions regarding COVID-19. This is not the time to get comfortable and relaxed. We all know someone who has been attacked by this virus. Let's take care of each other by washing our hands, wearing face masks, and social distancing. If you feel as I do, you're pretty fed up with it. But the only way we can win in this war is by protecting ourselves as we protect each other.
And then another thing I noticed is she name drops. She name dropped the name of the former supervisor of Thornton Township, Frank Zuccarelli.
I want to give a special thanks to Frank M. Zuccarelli.
Now, something that was brought to my attention some time ago from one of my commenters was that Frank used to be a supporter of the then Mayor Riley Rodgers, and he even endorsed him when he ran for mayor of Dolton. But their relationship somehow turned sour, and so Frank was no longer supporting Mayor Riley Rodgers. And in fact, you guys, just just to show you how ridiculous Dolton politics can get, and that's why Tiffany calls them Politricks, I'm going to show you this new snippet from when Mayor Riley Rodgers was running again for mayor, and he was going against the then trustees Dwayne Muhammad and Stanley Brown. Let's watch.
Mayoral, a racist flyer is circulating in South Suburban Dolton right now ahead of next week's primary election. ABC 7's Stacey Baca is here with more on a story that's new for us at 4:30. Stacey?
And Rob, like every campaign, there are plenty of campaign flyers in Dolton right now, but only one has racist references to plantations and slave masters. 3 people are running for the top office. Mayor Riley Rodgers is running for re-election. He's up against 2 village trustees, Dwayne Muhammad and Stanley Brown. This is the political flyer showing elected officials in Dolton wearing black and white jail suits. One of them on the far right is mayoral candidate Stanley Brown.
And that piece of literature is taking us black folks back over 100 years, because that's black on black crime, what that individual did, put that out there.
It's unclear who made the flyer, but it does state that Mayor Riley H. Rodgers is trying to move Dolton forward. It goes on to criticize the elected officials depicted, saying they are good obedient servants on Massa's plantation, a thinly veiled reference to powerful Democratic committeeman Frank Zuccarelli, who is pictured in the foreground.
We have to stop stabbing on one another. Black people, let's stop. That's not the type of literature should be out there. You're running for a race to be a mayor.
At City Hall today, no sign of Mayor Riley Rodgers. He did not return emails or phone calls, and his chief of staff declined to speak with ABC 7. And the other mayoral candidate, Dwayne Muhammad, had this to say about the flyer.
It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure out where the literature comes from. I'd rather put my energies in talking about what I'm bringing to the village of Dolton and its residents.
Muhammad and Brown both raised concerns about the vacant properties in the city, saying city leaders must address the problem.
The current administration has no conceivable plan to get a hold of our housing stock here in the village of Dolton. That's one of the primary things that we're going after.
They're also worried about the types of businesses moving into the village.
You take Sibley, it's almost like a Vegas Strip. Liquor stores, lights on, slot machine stores, 24 hours. That's not the type of village we're looking to get.
So Mayor Riley tried to have 3 village trustees recalled last year, including Stanley Brown. They turned around and tried to have the mayor recalled. In the end, neither of them happened because there were not enough valid signatures.
So yeah, just a hot mess. You guys, who do you think made those flyers? I'm kind of on the fence, you know what I'm saying? I really don't see the mayor really coming out and doing something so blatantly obvious, like he could be easily accused of doing something like that, but then it could be reverse psychology, right? And when I say reverse psychology, meaning him doing it and thinking that, oh, they wouldn't think that I would do something so obvious that would sabotage me. So that's what I'm thinking from the mayor's part. But then if we look at the way that trustee Dwayne Muhammad kind of brushed it off, like, oh, you know, it doesn't take a genius to see who did these flyers or where these flyers came from, and instead of investigating it.
It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure out where the literature comes from. I'd rather put my energies in talking about what I'm bringing to the village of Dolton and its residents.
That's what really stuck out to me, is that he said, instead of investigating where they came from. Well, why wouldn't you want to investigate where they came from? So, you know, it's kind of like back and forth in my mind, you guys. What do you guys think? Who was behind these flyers? And if you live in Dolton, do you know who was behind these flyers? Because I would like to know. That would be some little juicy piece of news. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and continue with this board meeting.
I had 2 questions, Mayor. I'll just recite them, and then you just let me know the answer. That's fine. I did send you guys an email in regards to our flyer about our voter registration drive this weekend, and you guys stated that you guys will put it up on all our outlets, and it was not put up. So my question is why? My next question is for the mayor, and it's in regards to the town hall meeting that we were supposed to have regarding 14200 Cottage Grove. Can you tell me why we have not done a town hall meeting and what's going on with that, if anything? I got a ton of concerns about it. I don't know if you guys know that land is contaminated, and I would like to know, Mayor, in 2011, you was on the board, and it was what was done with the property? That's my question for 14200 in Cottage Grove. 2 questions, thanks.
I know that Giovanni had mentioned the fact that you wanted something posted. We had a glitch and it wasn't able to be posted. Be quite honest with you, I don't think we returned to get it posted. Secondly, on 142nd and Cottage, I'm not sure who mentioned the fact that you wanted to have a town hall meeting. I think yourself and Trustee Holmes have mentioned the fact you want to hear from the people. So at that point, I was under the impression that you guys would set up the town hall meeting. I didn't hear clearly what you said about me being a trustee in regards to that property. You were kind of cut out. So you want to mention that?
Sure, but let's back up to the 2 things you just answered. Number 1, you said it was a glitch in the system for why you guys didn't post the flyer?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's untrue on what you're stating, Mayor, because you guys did email back, and your email stated that I was in, what's the word that she used? You had something going on at the same time I had something going on. So she did not post the flyer because it was bumping heads with your event that you put on from 11 to 2, as well as my event. So that's the reason for why she didn't post it, is what the email stated. So how you make up a glitch, I don't understand it.
So yes, she calls him a flat out liar for not posting up her flyers on the website or the other media outlets. After he said it was due to a glitch, but of course she wasn't having that explanation, okay? She wants what she wants, all right? But there was something else that stood out in the midst of her calling the mayor a liar. And that's her reason she says the mayor didn't post her event on the website. She says he didn't do it because he was also having an event at the same time, and he didn't want her event to interfere with his. But wait a minute, let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit to Mayor Tiffany Henyard, because she was accused of pulling off the same kind of stunt when she shut down an annual car show because she was having an event on the same day.
So on Saturday, this parking lot at Needles Park here in Dolton was supposed to be full of cars and people for a popular annual car show, but take a look at what happened. The city shut it down, placing huge concrete barricades in front of the entrance, still a couple back there, in what the Park District is calling an act of revenge by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
It was just so crazy when I arrived here Friday and saw the blocks.
We had our permit, we had our insurance, everything that Dolton Park District asked for.
Bosley got an unexpected call last Wednesday from Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's top assistant,
saying that the show would be shut down, but if I move my event to her location on Greenwood, that I would be fine.
Did you take that as a threat?
Yes, I took that as bullying.
Sure enough, when Bosley showed up at the park Saturday morning, he found that giant concrete barricades had been placed at the entrance, and Dolton police were threatening to tow any cars that parked there.
So yes, the hypocrisy lives on, and we could go on for days pointing out the hypocrisies of Tiffany Henyard, but let's get back to this board meeting and see how the mayor responds to Tiffany's claims of him lying about the flyer.
So I don't want to play politics. I really would like the information to get out to the residents. I've been asking for years, and the previous board been asking for years. I just want to put it out there so they know the things that Trustee Henyard offers as well. And then as it relates to your other comment for 14200 Cottage Grove, myself and Holmes, which he can speak for itself, both agreed on a town hall meeting that you stated that, okay, I will do. You then put it in Trustee House's committee, or someone did. I think the attorney suggested it goes in his committee, and then you said, no, take it out. We're gonna take care of it. And to this day, nothing. So 2 weeks then went by, and I just was asking what has happened. Instead of you placing blame, I would like you to take initiative for your actions and just say you dropped the ball on it, Mayor.
So you guys know, if you've been watching any rants of Tiffany Henyard, any of her grandstands during the board meetings, you know she is not the one to be pointing fingers and telling people to take initiative, like she said, when I think what she meant to say is take responsibility for their action. But like I said, you guys, this is 7 months before she actually becomes mayor, so she is in full campaign mode. And being in full campaign mode, she has to paint the current mayor in a bad light in order for her to be considered to be elected into being mayor, because she's playing what? Politricks. Like she said, you know, she let everybody know it's Politricks, and she definitely wants to become a master at the game. All right, you guys, let's continue.
I still think we should talk to the residents about it before we move forward. But the thing I have most concerned about is the land. When you was a trustee in 2011. And then for those that is watching, you can recite and you can pull the minutes from December 5th of 2011, and you'll understand what I'm saying about that piece of property over there. Because it's like you just was pushing us to vote on it, and no one knows the history of why when Henyard spoke up, why I'm saying, oh, you guys, let's go over all of this, because I want to make sure that the tenants that go in there, are they going to clean the property up, or is that going back on the village? Because from my understanding, they just want to lease the land, but no one's talking about the contamination that comes with the property.
I pretty much know the history of that land, and for what the tenants want to do, I don't really think it needs a phase 3 examination, because they're talking about parking. They're not talking about building anything. They're not talking about anybody, living there or it being habitable. Secondly, the attorney that was on mentioned the fact they were going to do a cleanup. They were going to do a cleanup in phases. And lastly, I didn't say I was going to do the town hall. I said since you guys wanted it to be examined and you wanted to have input by the community, I said, that's fine, let's do it. I didn't say I was going to do it. So if you guys want to have community input, I got no objection in that. Call a town hall meeting, get the residents there, let them put some input into it.
For me, I've door knocked that area, and a lot of people is concerned about that piece of property. A lot of people have put their comments in citizens' address as well. So I'm asking you, by you being the mayor, that you should do the same thing, since you don't initiate the town hall meeting. I know that I can do it, I always do, but you're the leader. So the leader should take some kind of initiative and do a town hall meeting for the people, Mayor.
Oh, there she goes, talking all that leader stuff again. So once again, with this issue they're talking about, Tiffany's hypocrisy rears its ugly head again. Because Tiffany Henyard is the last person to talk about she's concerned about the tenants who are going to be owning that land being responsible and cleaning it up. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Tiffany Henyard used to own a Section 8 house, and she was deemed a slumlord because the renter had to move out due to there being a lot of mold in the house, busting pipes, feces under the house. I mean, the house was just unlivable. And Tiffany Henyard never fixed the issues, so the woman who lived there had to move to a hotel, and then to top it off, the village paid for the lady's hotel stay. So basically, any arguing point that Tiffany had here doesn't hold water. And then another thing she mentions that he is a leader and that he should step up and take initiative to schedule these town hall meetings. Well, this brings us to my next example. So the Board of Trustees nowadays, dealing with Mayor Tiffany Henyard, they continually have issues trying to access Village Hall so they can have their meetings like they're supposed to, like their CAL meetings, their finance meetings, their housing meetings, which Tiffany Henyard, as a trustee, she was at least awarded that privilege. The mayor would let them go in there and they would be able to sit down and discuss everything in detail. But what do you think Mayor Tiffany Henyard does to the Dolton trustees when they try to go and they try to do the same things that she had the privilege of doing as a trustee? Let's watch.
A political feud between the mayor of South Suburban Dolton and the village trustees tonight. Trustees say they're not allowed in Village Hall.
WGN's Patrick Elwood is in Dolton tonight with more on what's going on. Patrick?
Village Board is on one side and the mayor, Tiffany Henyard, I'm told, on the other.
This is the second time she did this.
Edward Steve is a trustee along with 5 others, called a meeting 2 days ago to appoint their own legislative attorney. Tonight they say they were locked out of the Village Hall and forced to hold their meeting with a quorum they had in the parking lot.
We had a quorum, we had the clerk, and we had a board meeting outside.
Why the pushback on her part, you think?
Well, there's things on the agenda that she doesn't want us to pass.
I think it's deplorable for her to lock out elected officials, not only the residents, but the elected officials also, so they can conduct the business of the village.
Mayor, this is Patrick Elwood from WGN TV, trying to reach you so I can get some participation, some kind of comment from you in the story I'm doing tonight about what happened here out at the Village Hall. All of this has residents like Deborah White exasperated because she says Dolton has so many needs now and political infighting is not helping anyone.
We're sitting in the parking lot instead of being in a building that our tax dollars pay for, and our tax dollars pay the salary of the sitting mayor and the trustees.
So to state the obvious, I have not heard back from the mayor as of the 9 o'clock hour. I'm also told she closed Village Hall a half hour early.
So, she's just doing whatever she want to do. She's locking the trustees out of Village Hall. She's closing the building a half hour early. It's not like it's a special day or anything, a holiday. She's just doing whatever she wants to do, you guys. And this was back in, I believe, 2022. So this has been going on a long time, you guys. And the trustees have been in an ongoing battle with the mayor and her just running stuff however she wants to run it, stepping over people, doing whatever she wants to do. So for a lot of people who are new to this whole drama in Dolton situation, they don't really realize how much the trustees had to fight and how much they are still fighting to try to get Tiffany Henyard out of office, because she has bankrupted the village, okay, allegedly, and she has no leadership qualities about her. Everything she does is to just uplift her own self and her own image and blame everyone else, such as the trustees and the media, for the image that she has created herself. All right, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. The child needs some real discipline. That's what it comes down to, because she is the type of person, I'm guessing, was never rightly disciplined as a child. As we can see when we look at the board meetings of her as a trustee, she was never held accountable for her actions then. Like I said earlier, the village even paid for her mistake. Well, I don't know if I can call being a slumlord and totally just ghosting your tenant when stuff is going wrong a mistake, but yeah, the village went ahead and helped her out of that situation rather than making her be an adult and deal with it all by herself. But let's get back to this meeting, because the mayor basically puts Tiffany in her place. Let's watch.
Well, I'm telling you,
you should do.
Well, I'm telling you as a leader that I have no objection to a truck parking facility being there. That truck traffic is there every day. It's an industrial area. There's manufacturing companies there that get serviced by trucks every day. In regards to truck parking, it would help accommodate a lot of the residents that have commercial vehicles that's parking on the street right now, to give them a safe place to park. So as far as clean up, and not only that, they mentioned the fact that we'll do the landscape when they came in to do that. So I don't think there needs to be an extensive examination for contamination there, because they're going to just be doing parking. No servicing of trucks, just parking.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go back and forth with you on this. If you want to call a town hall meeting, then you can call a town hall meeting.
Mr. Mayor and trustees, I'd just like to remind you, this is general announcements. If trustees want to discuss something under old or new business, they're free to do so. But this is not the appropriate time to have a question and answer session.
Okay, any more announcements? Next thing is a presentation for Cook County Board President Tony.
Look at her, you guys. She's pissed. She's like, I can't stand you. I can't wait to get in your position. That's why you're not going to be mayor for long. Oh my goodness. She is so pissed, because he just like brushed her off. Like, all right, look here. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you, little girl. Okay. So you guys, there were so many red flags to show the people of Dolton that Tiffany Henyard was the last person they should vote into a leadership position, let alone the mayor position, okay? If they were paying attention or being really honest with themselves. I think it comes down to that sometimes. People have to be completely honest with themselves and ask themselves, why are we really voting for this person? Are we voting for this person because we want to say that we are for change and we want to make history? You know, all the wrong reasons to vote for someone. You vote for someone based on the content of their character, okay? You don't vote because how they look and what they say. Well, also, in this case though, they could have voted on what she said and how she acted as well, because the child never hid who she was. She was always rude. She was always abrasive. She was always she's just someone I would not choose to be within a close proximity of. Let's just say that. I will say though, Someone asked me, they're like, oh, you know, I watched your video and it seems like you really just hate her. I'm going to say this, you guys. It's impossible for me to hate someone I don't know or who hasn't affected me personally, all right, in a horrible way. So no, I don't hate Tiffany Henyard because I don't know the child. And I also feel that hate is a very strong word and it takes up a lot of your energy to really hate someone. But from what I can see, because she can't stop talking and she can't stop bragging about herself, I can make the judgment for myself that this is never someone that I would choose to be around and be within my company, because she seems like a very toxic individual. And that's just my observation, and that's what I have seen, not just from the news, not just from other YouTubers, but from the stuff that spews from her mouth on the regular and how she presents herself, okay? So I just want to say that for the record. All right, you guys. Well, that's going to be it for today. There was more to this meeting, but you guys, these meetings are so long and this video will be way too long. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But you guys, when I say if you enjoyed the video, please like, I really mean that, because like it makes a big difference in the viewers that I get in when you hit that like button. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like, and if you're new here, subscribe.
So anybody that been here as long as I've been here, because remember I tell y'all all day long, I grew here, everybody else flew here.
I'm Tiffany Henyard from Chicago, Illinois.
Remember I tell y'all all day long, I grew here, everybody else flew here.
I'm Tiffany Henyard from Chicago, Illinois.